Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to my channel, The Fallen Pages. Today's book is Fahrenheit 451 by Bradbury. So this is a dystopian novel that delves into deep themes of censorship, knowledge, and the consequence of a society that has lost its curiosity and critical thinking. And it is set in a future where books are illegal to read and write, and there are firemen who burn the books because they think that if you explore the narratives inside the books, they will give there are dangers for your intellectual intellect for your intellect, and that is why the society is in repression, and they are declined in their morality in the book, in the novel. So in the book, the protagonist is named as Montag, and who's a fireman who initially takes great pride in burning the books because Montag's life is controlled by the oppressive government and the societal norms that views books as dangerous, threatening, and subversive. And this world is devoid of meaningful conversation, intellectual exploration, or deep emotional connections, leaving citizens to retreat into superficial distractions such as televisions, their phones, and like instant gratification and consumerism. So the novel begins with Montag's initial satisfaction in his job. He likes it, burning books, but as he begins to question the world around him, the society around him, he particularly after meeting his neighbor Clarice, his perception begins to shift as he is talking to this neighbor of his. And Montag starts questioning his role in the society and in the government, his marriage, also to his disconnected wife because of the job he does and the purpose of his life. He starts to question everything, and this internal conflict sets the edge that sets him off the edge. And at this stage of his life, he starts to become a rebellion. He starts to rebel against the government and the societal norms. Montag's journey towards self-awareness is framed by his eventual decision, which he has to make in the future to preserve the written word, the books, and symbolizing a reclamation of knowledge and knowledge of self-expression and individual thought. He starts to understand these things, that he needs to protect these things instead of burning them. The novel is rich in symbols, and the symbols, they serve as a tool for exploring its central themes in the book, and such as censorship, rebellion, and enlightenment. So the symbology is that one of the symbols that I've noticed is that fire. Obviously, they're burning books with fire, and traditionally, this is associated with warmth and light. Fire in Fahrenheit 451 is repurposed to represent destruction, control, and censorship. And the firemen who are supposed to prevent fires, they are basically the one who are like igniting the fires. And instead of using names to destroy the books and the knowledge they hold, the firemen basically are burning these books, and they're like hiding this knowledge, and to control the society and all of that. So however, by the end of the novel, fire also becomes a symbol of renewal and rebirth, just like a phoenix. It's some sort of a transformation. And particularly with Montag, the protagonist uses it to fuel his escape, and begins to see the possibility of regeneration of his intellect and his life. Then comes the symbology of books. Books themselves are central to the narrative of the book, of this novel, and they represent intellectual freedom, knowledge, culture, and other things also in the book. The government is banning books in the novel, and it is an attempt to erase history, free thought, and any form of subversive or challenging ideas. And books represent the means by which individuals can engage with each other, with their family, with their history, with their coming generations, and with complex ideas. And to understand, to basically understand themselves, like how books are, you know. So themselves in the world, in the books are like it's sort of like a communication between the deeper worlds that is mentioned in the novel. And Montag's rebellion against the society and the government, against the book burning, specifically symbolizes a desire for self-empowerment and the restoration of individuality. So as I mentioned earlier, Phoenix is also mentioned, is referenced in the novel as a sign of rebirth and rebellion and transformation. So the mythical bird rises from its ashes after its death, and he is more stronger than before. And just as Montag, the protagonist, at the end of the novel seeks to rise from the metaphorical ashes of a society that has burned away years ago, centuries ago, society that has burned all the intellectual thought processing of humanity and emotional depth. So he basically rebels against it, and it's a transformation of his character's arc. So the phoenix becomes a symbol of hope in the novel, in the life of Montag, the protagonist, and indication that after destruction, and even after self-destruction, there is a potential for renewal and rebirth and change and transformation. And then there is this thing, a symbology, a mechanical hound. The mechanical hound, a robotic enforcer used by the government and the society to hunt down the people who have books, or there are rumors that some people or a society has books. And it symbolizes the dehumanization of society and oppression of free will and free thought. It is an artificial intelligence creator programmed to pursue and eliminate criminals in the eyes of the government, representing the loss of empathy and individuality in a technological age where the human desire for knowledge is mechanically suppressed. Then there is this symbology of the river. The river is Montag's escape down the river toward the book. People signifies his journey, his transformation, his sort of like phase one, his phases of life, his phases of transformation toward purification and self-awareness of his morality, of his intellectualism. And it is a place of transition, a threshold that separates him from the oppressive society and the government he is living in, and he is leaving behind also, and guides him into a space where he begins to rebuild and rediscover meaning and knowledge. As Montag is rebelling against the society, and he like throws away his job and all that, he runs and he becomes a criminal. So basically there are Granger and the book people mentioned in the novel. They're basically a society, a small society, which is feeding on hope that there will be someone who will come to save us, or there will be a good day, a utopia after the dystopian era. And they're known as the book people, and Montag meets them after his escape, representing a new hope for society and mankind in the novel. The book people preserve the knowledge and wisdom of the past by memorizing each and every book, so that if a fireman comes and burns their library or books, they have memorized each and every book, and they are basically reciting these books like chants to the coming generation, the future generation, their kids, so that they can leave a legacy in their generations. And Granger, the book people, symbolizes the possibility of renewal and rebirth, and his group is dedicated to restoring knowledge and creativity and morality. And even in a world where books are outlawed, and the person, and even in a world where a person who has a book is a criminal, so they're still firm in their belief that they need to memorize and leave something for their future generations. They embody the idea that ideas cannot be fully destroyed. They're like energy; they have to be passed on, and new generations must carry the flame of knowledge forward. So, at a deeper level, The Fahrenheit 451, the novel, can be interpreted as a commentary on the dangers of technology and mass media when they replace genuine human connection, which is happening nowadays. And there are removing intellectual exploration and thought processing and pursuit of truth from the human beings. And in this narrative, in this novel, society's obsession with technology and convenience leads to a loss of individuality and critical thought processing. And the people become complacent, emotionally numb, and unaware of the world's complexities. And the book also delves into the tension between calamity and conformity and rebellion, offering a sobering reflection on the ways in which societies and governments can fall into intellectual stagnation. And Montag's journey is not just a physical journey; it's also a spiritual journey. His escape, basically, and it's sort of like an inner transformation of characters in this novel. It's sort of a quest to rediscover himself, his moral compass, that his own humanity, and by an extension to resist the mindless human beings that are coming at him and enforcing their own ideologies on him, and he's fighting them back. And this novel's exploration of censorship is really good, and is particularly really deeply written in a way that, as it speaks of the vulnerability of knowledge in the face of authoritarian regimes. However, rather than offering a hopeless picture, the novel suggests that the human spirit is still alive if you want it to be, and the quest for meaning, freedom, and self-expression cannot be entirely thrown away or burned down. It still exists inside of you, that flame. And even in the face of destruction, there is hope, and for regeneration, for rebirth, for transformation, much like the phoenix that rises from its ashes. So I guess, guys, this is it regarding the book. And if you guys like the book, please do let me know what are your thoughts on the book, and if there are any other books or there's anything other novels that you want me to talk about or anything, please do leave that in the comments below, and please like, share, and subscribe, and see you next time.